sorry ass DJ.
Get some.
Metal detecting, simplified for newcomers. Exceptional stability in salt water. Waterproof up to 16 feet. Impressive depth and discrimination, similar to a high-end detector. All for an unbeatable price. Score, multi-frequency for all.
Many spend their days passively searching for something interesting to do. Others dig in and find it. While nothing is certain, anything is possible. And the anticipation leads you into action. Because it's here that adventures begin. Stories are unearthed. Secrets are revealed. Fortunes are found. Mysteries are solved. And the past is brought to life. Nothing valued is ever lost. It's simply waiting to be discovered. So here's the question. What are you looking for?
It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show, and somebody's rang in sick. Yes, Mr. Badger himself's a little bit poorly. He's got the sickness bug and he won't be with us tonight. But we have a tremendous guest lined up to chat with tonight anyway. So it'll be just me and him. Because Shane's not well either. Everyone's dropping like flies. What's up with you all? Look at it. I'm here and I'm Mr. Sick. Anyway, before we start the show tonight, I'm going to have a little rant. Now, for those of you who watch the show, you know that we take ourselves very not very seriously, but we try to take the content seriously. Anyway, you were to think back as well. When Adrian first put on Adrian's Wall, we said jokingly, and I'm sure every single one of you watched that show, and all who know us said, £10,000 if you get it right first time. And it was right first time. Well, suddenly it's come back to bite us on the balls because said person and all his little cronies have come out calling us out where that 10 grand is. Anyway, just like to point out that the Big Detecting Show is completely and utterly self-funded by myself, Adrian and Luke. We make absolutely no profit out of it. We're not a registered business, nor are we a registered charity. So when them questions are being thrown about and asked to friends of mine by this person and his cronies, then we're not a registered charity, nor am I a business. Me and Adrian work, and Luke all work full-time ourselves. This is done as a hobby in our spare time. And honestly, if I really, really wanted to, I wouldn't do the show because I'm quite happy being lazy and sat on the couch, but I'm enjoying it. Enjoy having a crack with my mate. I enjoy other things. So I'll cut that off because Shane's had all sorts of phone calls today and it's all said and done. We're not in any way, shape or form making any money out of it. We're doing it for this. And if said person would like to come and see me or face-to-face, one-to-one, I'd be more than happy to have that conversation with him. But probably his little shit house and he won't. But the offer is there. Anyway, moving on. Again, just like to remind people, the prizes from the show before Christmas. Basically, the ones that have been sent out, which all of them were provided by other people for the free prize draw and other companies, which we spoke about throughout the show. All of them that have been sent out from them companies should all be with them bar one, which was my fault, which they've been given the details now, and that should be there ASAP. Anything else is under my desk here, or in Donna Martin's case, over there, and hasn't been sent out yet. A, because as Derek Gibbon will confirm, I am pap at sending things out, but also being that time of the year and the business I work for struggling quite badly, I've been left in a hole financially, and unfortunately, I have not been able to sort that out, plus when I was in hospital as well. So all that's out, all that's done. Hope you're all well. Hope you've all found lots of nice things. Diggers Den Tezza sent me a message before. Not got to look at it because I've been in meetings all day, Tezza. So I know it's there and I will have a look, but I've not looked yet. And I also need to speak to Nick West. I've messaged Adrian and I'm just waiting for his housing manager to confirm what are the dates that we've come up with anyway. So I think that's everything, all the parish notices. I am going to be taking part in a project which I've bought a new metal detector and I've suggested to the company I bought it off, perhaps I can do some Dave videos, which, as you can imagine, will be complete and utter half-wit's guide to a metal detector, to speak about it from me, my perspective, as lots and lots of people will automatically jump onto YouTube and go to, no disrespect to Sid Perry, obviously, Sid is a genius at what he does, but they'll jump onto Sid's videos, watch Sid's videos, try to copy Sid's programs and techniques, whereas myself, if I do it, they're going to say, yeah, fair dues, Dave's, I've got a clue. Let's have a look at his perspective. So I've offered to do this, or we've discussed it, and we've suggested this as a perspective, as a project that we're going to be doing in the future. So yes, and you're all going to giggle at when you actually see what that machine is as well, because it's way above my ability. Anyway, moving on. Let's bring on tonight's guest. It's that lovely Mr. Tomlinson. How are you, Steve?
Good evening, Mr. Sadler. Very well, you? Thank you.
Obviously, I know you're in such high esteem now. It was very difficult to get you on the show because obviously people from all over the world are trying to get you on the telly now. So we're very lucky to have you.
It's always space for you, mate.
So for those of you people who don't know Steve, he joined us just before Christmas. He's joined us previously in the past. I've got a lot of time for Steve. I love hearing his tales and especially seeing his finds. But Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I work as a professional archaeologist and also a very keen mudlarker as well. So a bit of both worlds there. A living and a hobby stroke living, which is really good. Yeah, absolutely. Love all of it, really. I spend most of my time along with a big Liverpool fan, along with you, Dave. Sort of like, of course, like the Reds at the moment. And, sort of like watching those quite a lot as well, which is brilliant. Yeah, so
Good man.
Yeah, great. Yeah, top. But yeah. That's
you. Well, and you live in Kent?
Yes, I live in Kent. Yeah, live in the Isle of Thanet. So right down on the east corner. So now,
the Isle of Thanet thing was a complete and utter because Joan Allen would have run. I think it was Joan Allen running some metal detecting events there over the last few years, and I'd never heard of the Isle of Thanet. I'm like, where's that? I heard of the Isle of Anglesey and the Isle of Wight and the Isle of Man. I was like, Isle of Thanet, what's that?
Yeah,
and it was only actually looking into it again because I'm sure there's people other than me that don't know. Tell us about the Isle of Thanet and why it's.
Well, the Isle of Thanet. Yeah, do you remember Only Fools and Horses? So probably one key episode, the trip to Margate.
Yeah.
Well, I don't live far from there actually, just up the coast from there. But a lot of history, Thanet actually over the years. Margate, Ramsgate. Birchington, well, especially Margate's a fantastic history. It's kind of like a kind of popular destination for holiday people, really, over hundreds of years. It's gone a bit of decline recently, to say the least. With we've got Dreamland there, which has unfortunately suffered over recent years, really, amusement park. But it's getting back on track now. People always visit Margate. It's a lovely beach down there. But it's slightly different now to what it used to be. But the coastline in Thanet is lovely. It is very, very nice. And it goes right the way through to Westgate, Minnis Bay, through to Birchington, Reculver, where Reculver Towers is. It really is, yeah. It's like a lot of places. There's rundown areas, but some lovely areas as well. But I think
and it's actually an isle.
Yeah, it is. It's right on the tip of the East Kent coast.
Yeah.
So right down the bottom on the right-hand side, yeah.
Accessed by bridge?
Literally straight off the Thanet Way, and that takes you into sort of Manston area, where the airport is. Or hopefully the airport's going to be running within the next 5 years. But so it's always been popular with tourists.
Yeah. As you can see, I've absolutely no knowledge of the
no.
When it comes to history, just looking at the finds that were coming up from the digs there over the last few years, and it really does look astounding for its history anyway.
It's amazing, yeah, especially in Margate, because, over hundreds of years, especially all the ships that used to come into the harbour, huge history. The beaches are absolutely jam-packed, especially during the Victorian days. You couldn't get on the beach, Dave, to be honest. You can't move.
Were you there?
Well, I may look a bit like, a couple more extra grey lines, mate. But I thought I'd bust them over tonight. But yeah, fines line, brilliant. Yeah, fashion clay pipes turn up down there, from the 1800s and things, and 1700s, and even earlier sometimes. But
Wow.
But yeah, quite a few people go beachcombing down there. And
well, the first time we got in contact, when you first appeared on the show, you actually found a full Roman vessel, didn't you, when you were mudlarking?
Yes, I did. Yes,
via the media, we communicated. You came on and told us all about that.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. It's that's fantastic. Yeah, to think of sort of Roman pot coming out of the mud after sort of 1900 years was quite amazing, really. Yeah,
and it wasn't small either.
No, it's quite a big one. It is sort of second century. So it's been fantastic. Just find things like that as well, and it's crazy. And I've been lucky enough to find 7 more since. So it's been quite a nice little certain areas mudlarking where it's luck of the draw on a day, really, isn't it? It's a bit like metal detector where you can go out and some days. Okay, you don't do very well, but to me, it's the enjoyment of doing it. It's not necessarily, making sure you come home with something. It's enjoying what you do, and if you come home with an empty bag, you come home with an empty bag. It's just the love of it, really, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, so, I mean, mudlarking for me, I get to mudlark to a degree. There's a small little. It's a special scientific interest place just by me called Dane in Pasture, which is on the River Dane-ish, one of the tributaries to the River Dane. And it's not a big river, this particular place. You have to walk down the Congleton lines, the old rail track, to get to it. But it's absolutely stunning there, and you can see the erosion that's occurring. And you pick up loads of pottery. My little lad loved when he was little going down there just to collect his pottery.
Yeah,
he's still got a back wall full of it. So that's really been my mudlarking, because from Ellesmere Port, where I'm from, the River Mersey, we couldn't access that because the Manchester Ship Canal was in the way.
Okay.
Where that's somewhere I'd love to go to and metal detect. There's an island down I can't remember what it was called. Someone will remind me at some point. There was an island down the middle, obviously between the River Mersey Island, Manchester Ship Canal. Love to go on there. I've always wanted to go on there because it had all such related to the old abbeys and such like. But Deadman's? No, that wasn't it. Anyway, I'd love to have always got on there, but obviously we couldn't get to the river, so you couldn't do anything there. Yeah. When it come out, it was more, New Brighton. Yeah. So that was sand, i.e. the beaches and such like. The River Dee on the other side, that was weird because you had like Thurston and that was all right to get onto, but then you had other areas which are all marshland, so you couldn't do anything on.
Yeah, quite dangerous. Yeah.
Excuse me. So I've never really been able to in this area, but I'd absolutely love, to get and do the likes of Laura Makelem and Nicola White down at the River Thames. One of the
Nicola's fantastic, isn't she? Yeah. The amount of I love watching her videos. It's just amazing what she finds. Yeah,
absolutely
brilliant.
Something like that would really, really attract me.
So exciting, yeah.
Because whatever you're going to pick up from the River Thames, it ain't going to be. I mean, to them, it's like, oh yeah, it's just another bit of this. But to me, it's like, oh, look what I found.
Yeah, that's it. I know. That's the thing. I mean, when I first started finding, there's sort of all bits of pottery and things, and I find it so interesting because to me, if you got like a name on it, I'm thinking, I don't know that name. I'll just research it, and I love the research side of it as well because I mean it's just fascinating. How old is this? Where did this come from? And things like that. And I mean, it's just it's amazing, and I love it. And to think, something's been around for 100, 200 years, just sitting there, and all of a sudden you come along, you find it, and it's great, absolutely great. And I started off, as I say, doing the pottery sign and things, and clay pipes and that. venture on onto different areas and try something different. But it's all great. I love all of it. Yeah, love all of it.
You talk about the research. I mean, one of my most recent metal detecting finds, which the viewers will know about, is a button with a man riding a donkey with a woman alongside him. He's got a lot around his head. And do you know what? I've tried asking the library button experts on Facebook to put it on their group, but it just keeps getting rejected.
Okay.
So inadvertently, somebody else put something on regarding Greek mythology, and it put on about Dionysus rides a donkey, and I'm like, oh. I've looked at it now. I'm thinking, do you know, he's got the lot around his head, and so. But yeah, I've tried researching that, and it's so bloody difficult, that particular button. But yeah,
have you got much joy now? Are you still struggling with it a little bit?
Oh yeah, still struggling.
Send it over to me, Dave, after.
I certainly will. Certainly will.
Yeah. See what I can do in the archaeological world.
I've got a few questions for you already.
Okay.
Actually, I'll go up a little bit. Philip Wells says the British Museum are not happy about magnet fishing destroying Viking swords with their strong magnets.
Okay.
Stephen Brame, Quest for Britannia, says, have you found any of the large clay pipes? I'm thinking it means the
church warden ones.
Type one. Yeah.
Yeah, I found one about 5 years ago now. And it was after a storm in Margate. And it was just literally sitting there on the rocks. And it was complete as well. So it was nice. Yeah, really nice church wall. I have actually got it here. I can walk away and I can bring it. I can show you if you wanted to have a look at it.
I think not just Stephen, but me and many others would appreciate that.
Would you like to? Okay, bear with us 1 second.
So we're bearing with him. He's just going to go and get it. He hasn't disappeared. Where's he go? He's going. We think he might be going for a poo, actually. So if you do have any questions tonight, help me out by asking any questions with Adrian not here. And just to let you know as well, for those of you who listen to Relics Radio in the United States, Ken's show, Nick West from Metal Detecting War Relics and the Military Heritage Museum will be appearing on there tonight. Tune in obviously later otherwise, but it'll be 12:30 a.m. our time that'll be on there. Let me just make it bigger. Rub it and make it bigger for you.
Well, I will do that. Especially
look at that.
Right, that's the church warden's pipe. So, yeah, that is. I found that on the foreshore at Margate Harbour, about 5 years ago, complete. And I don't know how it survived, to be honest, because they are so flimsy. These are absolute, and it's such a large pipe as well. But it did. And it was 2 days before Christmas, so it was quite a nice Christmas present.
Is it the bore size of it? Is it thin or is it thick?
Yeah, it's quite. I'll try to move it that way. Yeah, it's quite thin actually, and of course, it's got this curve.
Yeah.
As well, so that's been sitting. Well, that dates. It's all about 1800s, early 1800s. So about 200 years that's been sitting in the under the seabed.
Just as phenomenal as it is looking at it, how it's lasted is even just as phenomenal.
It has, and it's got this one's initialed as well, because sometimes you get the initials
right
on the base of the hill of the pipe, and it was dated just after 1800, and well, apparently from a pipe maker in London, so which could ring true because a lot of Londoners come down to Margate. A lot of Londoners, it's very popular for Londoners actually. So imagine somebody in the 1800s come down with that, probably chucked it off a ship, went down into the seabed, and there I was 200 years later to retrieve it for them.
So when you're watching Lord of the Rings, do you sit there with that in your mouth?
Well, it's a bit kind of, when you got like this.
Has it got any teeth marks on it?
Only mine now. I mean, I'll do it that way. There you go.
That's mental. Absolutely
It's mad.
mental.
And I believe that the church warden, why it was called Church Warden's Pipe, is the fact that it was a, this story is true, a gravedigger was seen smoking it in a churchyard. And that's where apparently the name originated from. It was a church warden.
Wow.
Looks after the grounds. So whether that's true or not, but yeah.
Let me just skip. Will Way asks, any tips on mudlarking, as I've tried in a muddy part of a field on one of my permissions, but as to date I've found nothing. Where am I going wrong? It's probably because you're mudlarking in a field and not by the foreshore.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a broad term, mudlarking, isn't it? Really, I suppose, because you can cover the fields, the streams, the foreshore, and I think fields can be good if you get you can find sort of good pottery in fields, Roman pottery, really in a good area, but obviously get permission to do that. Obviously that's the key thing, but it's almost anywhere coastal.
Yeah,
coastal's always good, as you know, probably metal detecting, really, really good coastal areas.
I've got a damn good question that I don't think I've asked the mudlarker before from Brian Goodsir Thompson of Monarch Designs.
Okay.
Buy your awesome stuff from Monarch Designs.
Like that one.
He asks, as shotgun caps are the bane of every metal detectorist's life, what is the bane find of a mudlarker?
Oh, crikey. Wow.
Isn't that a good one?
That I like that question. Yeah, I do like that. Well, I think all mudlarkers are different. I think some markers like pottery, some like clay pipe, some like collecting different sorts, really. I suppose to that question, every mudlarker is different. To me, I don't mind what I find. Some people collect bottles from the foreshore and things like that. So it is a very good question and a really tough question to answer, because I think if you relate to the Thames foreshore, where you get such a range of finds anyway, and I mean, most people would pick probably a range of anything really they could probably find and collect it. Always saying if I pick something up I don't like, in the end of the day, I'll just sort of bin it when I get home. But
it's interesting you say about Thames mudlarking as well, because there is, there's some Manchester mudlarkers YouTube channel. There's the Scottish, some Scottish mudlarkers YouTube channel. It's not just Thames foreshore, and
no, not so.
Your finds of national significance have not been made anywhere near the Thames, have they?
No.
Well, not near the Thames foreshore.
No, that's it. No, just that. No, outside. Yeah, outside. Yeah, in North Kent. So it's the Thames is very big anyway. It's miles long, absolute miles. It stretches a long way. So different shift patterns of the tides will move items that move them a long way as well. Something that's dropped into the Thames, move with the currents, and it can end up almost anywhere. You'll be surprised where things actually turn up. Amazing. I think there's a story years ago where there was a big storm in Faversham, and part of a shipwreck sort of emerged, and a guy found about 20 Bellarmine jugs. Just surrounded it, but never been seen. He just went down one day and found them. It's an extraordinary date from about 1600s, 1500s, but it's extraordinary. Yeah, but things do move. Yeah,
we know that obviously it is a tidal river. You don't think that things could move that far. Objects that have been there for hundreds, if not thousands, for years.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think a classic, probably going back to probably Margate again in the harbour, where there's certain areas where finds will turn up, and certain areas where we can literally completely blank. Absolutely blank is where the sound shifts it across the harbour, and it'll bring it in. But there's other areas where you'll just get nothing. Yeah,
and I take it from your years of obviously doing that in that area, you can predict more or less what will be a hotspot.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it, like anything really, where you go in and you think, oh, which is the good bits and which aren't the good bits. And you get to learn it and things like that. And I think it's, once you've built that knowledge up, then you go out there and you hit those places first. Yeah.
So is there any sort of them places that you wouldn't necessarily think nothing ever comes up there that you've been back to and, wow, suddenly there's something they didn't expect that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I found some nice bottles off Margate, which is an area where you think, well, I've had literally nothing there for weeks. And then all of a sudden you'll get 2 or 3 lovely bottles come up in about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, I had about 16 clay pipes I found within 2 weeks at Margate, purely because different areas are exposed. I mean, getting them down there is it's not rare, but you don't get a lot of the pipes complete. And there was an area what got shifted. The sand uncovered a lot of rocks, and a lot of these pipes would just emerge between the rocks. So
now, Angie's asked about going back to your pipe, and I think Donna Martin's actually answered the question. She asked why such the long stem. Donna Martin says because the tobacco was roughed and it cooled the smoke.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because tobacco years ago, well, especially when clay pipes came out, which was about 1580, tobacco was very expensive. So they made the really small bowls, really, really tiny bowls. And so you could get a little bit. So basically the tobacco went further. As gradually the years went on, the bowls actually got a lot larger. Tobacco came cheaper, so then you could put more tobacco in. I mean, these clay pipes probably cost about a penny in their day. Wow. So literally, why they're so broken most of the time is people used to snap them in half, get rid of them, just buy another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
she also said shag. So, sorry, she said I avoided saying shag. Well done, Donna, for avoiding saying that. Brian Goodsir Thompson says, and he is Scottish, so he's allowed to say this, Scottish mudlarking is just a daily bath, isn't
it? Yeah. They do well up there. There's a guy who comes on my site who bolt digs up there. That's quite a lot of bolt digging. He does. Seems to do really well. Yeah, it's. I've seen Yeah.
Something I'd love to do that, but Chris Langston never seems to invite me.
No, right. He may do tonight.
I've seen something else there. Andy Kerridge. Now, obviously, on the Thames foreshore, there is rules for excavation and such like. You can't necessarily do that. So he asks, how deep are your finds, or most of the finds that you're finding?
I don't dig on the foreshore at all. So mine are literally eyes only. Literally sort of either coming out of the mud, shallow mud, most of the time. Yeah, so it's just walking along the foreshore and just seeing what I can find. I've never dug for anything like that. If there's something, well, I say dug, but you might get your trowel in and you scoop out a bit of mud, but not physically with, sort of spades or anything like that. I've never done that before. So yeah, that's sort of eyes only.
And Matthew J. Kent asked another good question. Obviously, we've got the increase in metal detectorists via certain TV programs and such like, and news articles that have led to people involvement.
Yeah.
What's it like with mudlarking now? Has been an increase of that you've noticed?
Yeah, they have. They stopped the permits in London now because there's so many. They can't physically stop you going on the foreshore, but you're not allowed to pick up without permits. So you can't literally bag stuff up like permit holders would. But literally, there's a lot of places you can still sort of generally walk. A lot of publics still walk on the foreshore.
Yeah,
a lot of places. But without licenses, you physically can't do it. Yeah, you just can't mudlark. But massive increase. I think it's really taken off, and I think probably going back 5-6 years ago, there's probably 50% less people doing it.
And it's mad, isn't it? Because all right, YouTube has helped that, and obviously social media groups has helped that. But there was a TV program 10 years ago with Suggs introducing it, which was, full on mudlarking, and
that's right.
That sort of increase didn't occur.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people probably going back about 10 years ago were interested, but never really did it. You had the usual people doing it, but then people started saying, okay, I think I'll have a go at this. It's really interesting, and go out there and see what I can find. And I think there's so much now, which is it really has taken off. Yeah, really taken off big time. And I think if you kind of stick with the rules, do what you're meant to do, stay safe. I think that's a big thing, really, when you're mudlarking. Yeah. A lot of people say to me, how do I mudlark? I think the biggest key is really if you're going out on the foreshore, if you're allowed to go on the foreshore in the first place where you're going, is just stay safe. I mean, because that mud may look nice to go onto, but there's deep pockets of mud where you can quite easily go down into. And it's quite dangerous. So carry a mobile phone. Always carry a mobile phone, because you're going to be out there. Always take someone with you as well. I think that's sometimes a key thing to do, really, as well, because you don't want to be stranded in the mud. If the sea's sort of half hour or hour away from coming in, and you're in trouble. That's it's not good.
And I bet you've got an app or a website saved on your phone with all the tidal times, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. I've lost my welly before. I mean, I must admit. I mean, you sort of like, it's quite weird, because you go down into the mud, and you sort of like, if you go down quite deep, you're sort of like, because you've got Wellington boots are quite open at the top, so the air goes into the Wellington boot, and of course you're trying to struggle to, like, your welly's going down, and you're trying to get your foot out, but it won't let you. So it's a bit of it can be a bit dangerous at times. But generally, know your area, know where you can go. Don't be stupid. Don't go miles out, because you may not come back. Yeah. So because it is dangerous, it can be dangerous. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Sci-Fines. He's got hovercraft, and he's going all over them mud flats, but so you wouldn't touch them on your normal feet, would you?
No, it's all right if you don't break down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, he's sensible that, he would take all the safety precautions anyway. He would just go out in a hovercraft without necessary equipment to, if you do get in trouble, because you'd be mad to do that. So, yeah. And
you've got a buddy who goes along with you. I mean, you introduced her by name the last time you were on the show.
Yeah, Emily's come along a few times as well. So, she really enjoys it. Yeah. And she was there with she was there that day with the Bronze Age shoe came out. And she was there on this day when the other piece come out, which I'll talk about shortly. Brilliant. But yeah, she enjoys it. Yeah.
Well, we got obviously a few more bits and bobs coming through on the chat. Stephen Braham again asks, what are the oldest coins you've found, or have you actually found anything gold?
Strangely enough, I've never found a coin on the foreshore. Wow. I have in my job. I found a Roman hoard in my job as an archaeologist, but I've never, as a mudlarker, found any coins. Never. No.
How mental's that? You've actually found a bloody hoard. That's how many on here would give the left arm to find even a sniff of a hoard, and you found one doing your job?
Yeah, doing my job. Yeah. But never on the foreshore. Yeah, done it my job, but never in my job. So yeah.
But Brian Goodsir Thompson says something that I'm sure we'll get into a little bit later on regarding this shoe. He says, the mud and silt play a part in preservation, not just in terms of organic matter like leather shoes, but keeping things from moving and getting damaged like the clay pipe. Do you know a popular creator called Tales from the Foreshore?
No, I don't. No.
Steve, are you always happy to find a large pie? Easy now, Tiger.
I can do another one.
scroll down a little bit. I'm catching up now. Mudmen, that's what that program was called.
Oh, yes.
Do we know when they're going to allow any more permits? Absolutely not a clue. Johnny Vaughan. It wasn't Suggs. It was Johnny Vaughan. Bloody Suggs was the.
He done the RAF stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, the RAF one. Yeah. What is the strangest thing that you found on the foreshore? Straight away in my head, I can imagine what it is.
It depends if you could call it a mudlarking find or not. I found a packet of pants, modern pants, a few years ago, which were kind of like they're out the packet but lined up on the foreshore, which was.
And of all the people who would have loved to carry on that conversation, he's tonight on the sick.
I thought I'd bring it up now, otherwise he might get involved a little bit in this one, mightn't he? But that's the strangest. Yeah, I suppose in that sense, I don't know what that was about or who had done it, but there was 5 pants and they were kind of like all in a row. So I really don't know, but that's the weirdest. Probably the strangest find was probably a porcelain doll. With sort of like 2 legs off and 1 arm off, but 1 arm remaining with the head, which was a little bit weird. And someone had sort of drawn on the doll to make it really, really creepy. So that was quite a weird one, actually. Yeah, I didn't bring it home. I kind of left it there. I thought it might be a bit kind of cursed or something. So I didn't pick it up.
Actually like the pants. The pants bit was more fun. I was thinking about some form of, I don't know, suggestive phallic instrument. I don't know if there was a string attached. It was some kind of flag, weird flag or not. I really don't know. I didn't investigate him, Dave. I just left him. It might have been a rest area for some doggers, and it was like, take these if you need them.
Yeah, been great coming home with that one, wouldn't it? 5 pairs of pants. Yeah.
Off you found tonight, my love. 5 pairs of pants. You come in the wash for me.
They weren't even my size either, so they're completely useless all round, to be honest.
So, your job, your profession is that of an archaeologist, and basically, we've spoken in the past. You've mentioned it before. You're being a mudlarker. That's led into a profession, hasn't it?
Yes, I think it has really. Yes, yeah. I think being an archaeologist really helps about what you kind of find as well. It gives you probably the leather items as well that I found probably. Yeah, being an archaeologist, I may have been one of, a few people who may have just walked over it, not probably taken much notice. But, it certainly helped. Yeah, definitely. And I think the mudlarking, well, for me, certainly, it's kind of taken off, really. It's, but, it's, I think when you find two special items, I think, to find one is nice. I think to find 2 is quite extraordinary, really. And, it's it's gone down such an exciting path, I think, really, because it's just complete shock, really, what they turned out to be. I never in my wildest dreams ever thought that they are what they are, and it's extraordinary. And I think that's the fantastic side of mudlarking. Anybody can find something really good. There's a lot of mudlarkers out there, and everybody has a chance. And this was, I suppose, my day or my 2 days, really. But it's never expected. It'll probably never happen ever again. But very, very unexpected. Yeah.
And let's bring on these bits and bobs, shall we? So
right.
I've got them in which way am I going here? So that's the first image that you've sent me.
Okay, right. Is there a larger one? There might be a larger with the complete leather. Right, if you go to that one on top row, top right.
That one?
Yeah. Right, that's it. Right, okay. Right,
so just for a bit of context, we just recently had the latest series of Digging for Britain on the BBC. And obviously, episode 5, you made an appearance of It by Magic.
I did. Yes. Yeah.
And it was to discuss this shoe that you found down on Mudlarking, which turned out to be, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the shoe. Well, yeah, the shoe itself was extraordinary, really, because it was just off the muddy area of the foreshore. And when I first found it, I thought it was kind of medieval. Do you want to? Is that shoe up there, Dave? Do you want to bring that shoe? Sorry, to that bottom left picture with the orange. That's the one. Okay, right. That's the actual shoe itself. So that was laying upside down, just on the edge of the mud on the foreshore. And when I looked at it, I thought this, it got an inkling this is really good. But I actually thought it was medieval. I actually thought it was some kind of medieval kind of turn shoe. But I had an inkling it was good either way. So I took it home and sent a bit off to be carbon dated in Scotland. And the carbon dating result came back 4 weeks later with a date of 888 to 781 BC. So I was standing in my living room with a cup of tea in my hand, which nearly went all over the carpet at the time, because it worked out 2,910 to 2,803 years old. So at that point of the carbon dating result, it was the oldest shoe found in the British Isles.
Mm-hmm.
So the gentleman said to me, he said, "This is extremely rare. Do you want it carbon dated again?" And I went, "Yes, please. Yeah, we'll do it again just to make sure." So he carbon dated it again. 4 weeks later, just after Christmas, it came back with exactly the same result. They said, "This is what it is." So it turned out officially to be the oldest British shoe found in the British Isles, which is in the late Bronze Age period. And today, as far as we know, it's the smallest Bronze Age shoe ever found in the world.
Wow.
It measures roughly 15 centimetres, which is a toddler's shoe, roughly about the age of probably 9 months to 3 years. Bronze Age people were slightly different in size them days to what we are now, so they're a little bit smaller. So we have to go on the sizing of what we think the modern day sizes then were to the modern day sizes of today. So yeah, I kept it quiet for 5 months before the news was released on this.
You kept hinting to me. You wouldn't tell me, but you kept hinting.
I know, I did. Yeah, I did. And I said, yeah, there's something special coming, I think. And 5 months of keeping quiet because we got other professionals involved in this as well. We had a conservator. We had someone do the X-ray scans of the shoe. It went up to the British Museum, and we had to make sure that it was what it was. So, and that took quite a bit of time. Say about 5 months, and then once it was pretty much confirmed as the smallest shoe in the British Isles, not in the world at that time, it got released. Yeah, and then it went quite crazy after that. So yeah, amazing, just off the foreshore, really.
And this is what you is this what you spoke about on Digging for Britain?
It was, yes. Yeah, Alice took out Alice Roberts to have a look at and see. There is another picture there, Dave. Can I just go back to the big screen? Because I'll show you something on that as well. That one next to it on the right-hand side, that big picture. That's it. That's one. Yeah, we took it to show Alice. Dana Goodburn Brown was there as well. She's one of the conservators. Who looks at the shoe as well. And we also had Jess come up as well, excuse me, and she done the reconstructions of the shoe. It's absolutely fabulous because she's a professional leather worker. So we had a leather worker involved to see if this could be reconstructed, which is very, very difficult because it's so limited information on bonsai shoes. It's such limited. So along with the British Museum, we had to look over this to see where the stitching holes were, how it was formed, put together, and she'd done a cracking job. Now, this picture here, at the top there's a pattern just on the underneath. In Muss Farm in Cambridgeshire, they had a woven material which was very, very similar to this pattern, which dated again around about 3,000 years old. But that wasn't leather, that was just a woven material. So absolutely incredible. So it went up to Digging for Britain, and they showed it on there. And I think, Dave, there are another 2 pictures of the reconstructions of the shoes. I think I've sent you. Yeah. So 2 black shoe looking things. Yep, that's one of them. We had 4 reconstructions done, but the last meeting with the British Museum, pretty certain that this is one of the styles that looks more promising. It's kind of like a slip-in type of shoe with the laces were going down the side, and probably quite a tight. Yeah, that's what they call like a Cornish pasty style. That was quite known in the Bronze Age. Quite an easy slip on, and you had the laces sort of going through the side there, and slightly turned up at the front. So they're the 2 styles that we're pretty certain would have been to that original shoe.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So and that was another. Yeah, and this was the second one on the foreshore with Emily that day. The tide was coming in, and I just saw this on the edge of the foreshore, and it was strange because the leather was poking out the mud, but not too far. But I managed to rescue it quick, and it just looked so much different. Really, really soft leather, very soft leather, which is very unusual, really unusual from the foreshore. So again, I had an inkling that this could turn out to be quite good. Again, went up for carbon dating in Scotland. And this time, I basically did drop the cup of tea on the floor. It came back with a carbon dating result after 4 weeks of 2578 to 2466 BC. So that is 4,600 to 4,488 years old.
So you broke your own record.
So I broke my own record, and as far as we know to date, it's the only piece of Neolithic leather ever found in the British Isles.
Wow.
Which is extraordinary, and it dates Stonehenge. Yeah. This piece of leather dates Stonehenge. So, it really hasn't sunk in. Even I found that in March 2023, and it really hasn't sunk in, to be honest about. But it's a very special one as well, because it looks like it's been coated in some kind of waterproofing material.
Okay.
The British Museum think it's either could be part of a bag or third part of a water bottle, which would make sense for a waterproofing agent to be on that leather.
Yeah.
The yellow stroke orange brown could be, it's not confirmed, but it has been looked under a microscope by 2 or 3 professionals, and it will be looked at further. Could be at this stage a beeswax,
right,
which is very popular in the Neolithic period, but that is still ongoing at the moment, and it's not confirmed at the moment, but it looks quite promising. This one here is a red staining going on here, which there's various things it could be. It could be ochre, which is a red kind of material they used to use as well. Again, that's going under further investigation. But we do know that this, pretty 100%. So this is a waterproofing agent, which is on here, which would make sense to be in perhaps a water bottle. It is inside and outside in patches, so it's very, very, very exciting.
Now, obviously, both of the artifacts have been or are being preserved. How's that being done?
Yeah, that's being preserved at the moment by a professional conservator. Literally, it's making sure it's in bottled water, not whole bottle, just make sure it's damp at all times, so it keeps it fresh. Tap water would destroy it because it's got too many chemicals in it. So it's bottled water. Put it in the fridge. They put it in the fridge, and just to keep it fresh. Wherever it goes, we've got very, very promising at the moment. We've had really, really exciting meetings with the British Museum. Very exciting. I've got another meeting coming up shortly to discuss the future. Wherever it goes, it will need permanent preservation. So they will do whatever testing they need on that to do. Get every bit of knowledge they need out of that, of what the waterproofing agent is, and everything they need to know, and then they can put it in, whoever has it, in permanent preservation, so it won't deteriorate. And then it will hopefully go online so people can research it and they can look into it and do their own, and just learn about it. But it's incredible because it's two items that just do not survive unless they're in anaerobic conditions away from the air. So it's extraordinary. And, things like this, it's so incredibly rare, on a local, national, and it's turned out on a world scale, really. It's but it's for everybody to enjoy, everybody. Be lovely for everybody to see it one day, what museum it ends up in, just to have a look and say, wow, this is what it is. And and that's special. Yeah, that's very special.
And it just goes to show how important that foreshore mud actually is for preserving history.
Definitely, yeah, because that would never survive in the field. It would just deteriorate hundreds of years ago. It's only really that mud, that clay mud, which has preserved that so well. I mean, it's a part bag. The rest of it's gone. It's never probably expected to find that little bit, really, but it's preserved it so well that a little bit of bag which is left has told its story within itself. And to think it dates the reconstruction of the circle at Stonehenge, when the pyramids were built as well in Gaza. So
obviously Stonehenge makes you think old, but when you say same age as the pyramids, then it's bloody old in your head, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know. It's amazing, and once we learn a bit more about that as well, we hopefully get some more reconstructions done of that one as well. So just incredible, really.
Ange asks, obviously at this point, I don't think tests would be able to say anything, but would you be able to tell what animal the leathers actually come from?
Yes, you would. Yes, yeah.
That's going to come further down the line. Yeah,
that will come further down. I think when the official handover goes to where it's going to go to, testing will be done. Hopefully, to what animal it's come from. The waterproofing agents, what they may be. They could even be brain matter. They used to have brain matter years ago, which they used to use for waterproofing. So that could be a possibility. All the tests.
Can we still do that today by any chance?
Well, we could try. Probably a few people love to do it too, to be honest. Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, yeah. But
So
yes,
the original shoe that you found, has that test been concluded on that yet to find out what animal that's come from?
no. They were looking to do some kind of DNA on that shoe, but it's very, very difficult. They were going to look. British Museum were going to look to see if there's any skin cells left, see where they come from, a boy or a girl. But it's extremely difficult because you literally have to dry that leather out to near enough dry, literally a hard stage, and it's too risky, I think, to perhaps go down that route. I think so. Possibly, I think there's prometrics, which is very similar to DNA, which is another route around it. But once again, it's a bit of a risk, really. So that may not be done. But there's certainly look at the layers of the shoe, which looks like there's definitely 2 layers, possibly a third, but we're not sure. We think the third may have split. So so we definitely got the 2, which is typical of a shoe anyway.
Well, at the moment, is some people wanting to be mammoth and some people want it to be human.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do have some weirdos. What's the show? I'm not saying you're weird or anything, Donna, by the way.
Well, mammoth one will come. That'd be nice, actually. Yeah, wearing mammoth shoe. Yeah, that'd be pretty quite warm as well. So, yeah, who knows?
Back to archaeology.
Yeah.
And as an archaeologist, in the field. What have you been up to there this past year? What project are you currently working on?
I'm working on we've got quite an exciting site at the moment. We're working on a prehistoric site. I'm working currently on some SFBs, which it's a sunken featured building, which is basically something that went from prehistoric days right through to sort of 13th century, really. Mm-hmm. But we're finding, it's a nice little site. We had some nice pottery out, some nice Roman late Belgic pottery. General bits of loads of oyster shells and food that they ate in them days, as they did. Absolutely hundreds of them.
So that's what we went back earlier. That's the bane of the archaeologists on this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's quite. I think when I first started quite a few years ago, seeing about 100 oyster shells dating 2,000 years was quite exciting. But I think once you start kneeling on them and they hurt your kneecaps, they're everywhere. And it gets a bit
man's Lego.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you come home with cuts on your knees. But it's still really exciting. I enjoy it. And I think, we found some like loom weights, what they use in the Iron Age, to wear tapestry and all that on their clothing. And so that's exciting. And, these sort of SFBs, they're quite good because they can all, it kind of like waste pits in a way where they just throw almost anything in there.
Yeah.
So you can end up with pin beaters, loom weights, almost anything. And we've had some nice stuff. Samian ware we've had, which has been lovely coming out. So it's been good. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us about the hood then, because that must have been a phenomenal discovery itself.
Well, a hoard actually is not actually that many coins.
Yeah.
It's only, as you well know, it's only probably about 7. So this one, I think, produced about 20. It was only about 20. It wasn't massive. It wasn't massive hoard. It was about 29 Roman coins dating literally the early 1st century to the 4th. And they were just spooled in a big pit, literally within pottery. And so that was really nice. It's certainly the largest I've ever found. I've never found as many as that ever before. So that was a couple of years ago. That was nice. Yeah.
I take it. So that particular site, we're not going to talk about site names or locations, but that particular site, what had led the team to actually identify that as a location worthy of an archaeological dig?
Well, I think at first, before any building planning goes in, it has to be in an archaeological area.
Right.
If you're not in an archaeological area, you don't generally need any kind of planning permission. But if you are in an archaeological area, and most of Thanet is, because it's known as the Isle of the Dead anyway, Thanet is renowned as the best archaeological place in the country. So generally a lot of it does lie in it, and this site did as well, and it was really good, very, very rich in finds. I had there was a Roman pit, and there was 5 pieces. It looked like some kind of dagger or something in it, but it was broken in 5 pieces, and it's hopefully being looked at, because they found one in Germany about 2 years ago, and this is exactly the same design as that one. It's all encrusted in all the iron and everything staining. Turned out to be a silver dagger, Roman silver dagger, and this one has got exactly the same shape.
Wow.
So I'm hoping, and that took 9 months to in preservation.
Do you know what? I'm pretty sure I've shared a silver German Roman dagger on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine.
That could be the one. Yeah.
Because that is very interesting. If it's, I'm just going to have to pull that up and have a, will it show me? Or is it something? In fact, it might be in me.
I've got a photo, so I'll just send it to you on Messenger, Dave, at some point.
Just seeing if I've binned it.
I think a young lad found it, in Germany.
Oh, I can't find it now. I'm pretty sure they have shared one this past week or so. Is it in that one? I remember seeing one anyway, but nonetheless, if it is the same one, wow, again.
It's got the same shape.
Lucky.
Well, it's got to stop eventually, Dave, I think, isn't it? But, yeah.
Diggers Den Terry, he said the field he's been doing and the field that he's on are now under the archaeologist as well. And in 5 months, the houses are going up there. Yeah. So obviously an archaeological order on that.
Yes. Yeah. It's always a tough one, isn't it? Because, we don't like to see a history go. But unfortunately, this day and age, with the housing as it is, and it's one of those that, you needs to be done. I think it's more difficult on burial sites. I think when you've got, I think the classic one we did probably a couple of years ago was the burial site in Deal in Kent. And we had about 96 Anglo-Saxon burials, and people
remember you telling me all about that, yeah.
Yeah, why are you removing them? Well, the problem is the foundations of the buildings will go through those skeletons and they'll smash them all up anyway. They'll just literally be absolutely smashed. So, you take them out, and they do get reburied. They do get reburied, but it's always in it because people say, "Oh, why can't you just leave them there?" Well, we leave them there. The bulldozers are going to literally rip them to shreds.
Or if somebody does a bit of home gardening 10 years later and they found a body under the ground, it all stops for tea again.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's always, it's it's always,
So when you say the reburied again, we're not going to discuss any, but how's that come about? Did he take it to a recognised cemetery, or where would they bury them again? Normally extremely close to the site they were originally at, which is normally most cases. But being, how many burials did you say? 96?
About 96. Yeah.
96 burials obviously being removed and then reburied in a local churchyard, then you're going to be struggling for room there.
You'll be in a churchyard, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Without the headstones as well. Yeah.
Just be opening old ones up, stick a
I know, yeah.
In there. What a femur in that one.
But that HS2, wasn't it? They had all the Victorian ones, didn't they? And the that are about 800, wasn't it, or something? Was it they had there? Was it?
Yes.
HS2, wasn't it? So. Yeah.
I remember the Victorian ones with loads of burials. Anyway.
Yeah.
And what about when they were digging through? Weren't they digging through layers in London to do the new tunnel system down there? And they dug through some form of burial site.
Yeah, that could have been the one actually, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, actually hundreds of them, hundreds. Yeah, absolutely.
Matthew Kent's just sent me some pictures. He said, actually, it'll go on to Facebook. Obviously, it'll be on there. That's the one. We just present that for you. Is that the fella?
That's the fella. That's the one. Yeah. So that one was in, that's the one, young lad. Yeah, preservation. That was encrusted in all iron staining and usual what you get underground. I think that was in preservation for 9 months. It turned out to be a silver Roman dagger. Yeah. This one.
Lovely young man, but the not very pleased with the ponytail on that chap.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Well done to that gentleman who's done that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And so the one
obviously a similar shape to what you
extremely similar. Very, very, very similar. Yeah. Yeah. It was in a Roman pit as well. So very, very we'll see hopefully what comes of that one. Yeah. Hopefully.
Philip Wills said yes, it was Crossrail, the Elizabeth line.
Yeah, Elizabeth line. Yeah. Wow, God, crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's out there, isn't it?
Here's one for you. It's a candle. I thought it was real. John Clayton's fine today. £2 at a charity shop. I thought it was real. It's a candle.
No, I'll tell you, charity shops are quite good for finding some of them, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. I think that'd fight the life out of me if I saw that in my pit. It's quite creepy, actually, isn't it?
Man, I want one.
That's nice. I actually like it. It's creepy, but I like it.
We're going to have to make a mould now, aren't we? Get an actual skull, make a mould, and then pour some of the other in it.
It's really cool, actually.
HS2 workers exhumed 3,000 bodies in Buckinghamshire churchyard, says Nick West.
God, I knew that. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that is crazy.
You know, when in the respects of that, all right, the one that was found by yourselves, you didn't necessarily know it was there. So,
no,
getting that to be re-put somebody else, you can understand it, but removing 3,000 bodies from a churchyard just to make way for a bloody railway that's not getting built above Crewe anymore.
Yeah, I know. Anymore. Yeah. God, it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah.
Adrian's not with us tonight, John. He's got a sickness bug, so he's been made to stay in bed by his housing manager. And Shane was going to join us, sent him the link, but unfortunately Shane's microphone wouldn't work. I know Shane's got a new computer. Oh, there's a picture of the what's it called? The dagger with the incrustation. Thanks again, Matthew.
That's the one. Yep. Yeah, well done. Yeah, that's it. Yep. So literally same as that, but in 5 pieces. It's a bit unusual for silver because silver. So I'm not sure whether that is going to turn out to be silver. It would have been quite.
And it took 9 months to get it back to.
That's right.
That state.
That state. Yeah. Well worth it, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Extraordinary, isn't it? Absolutely extraordinary. Yeah.
To find something as prominent as that.
Yeah, God, yeah.
I'm going to have to come and actually meet you in the flesh, Steve, just so I can touch you to get some of your amazing fine scent from you.
Well, we always said we're going to meet up one day, Dave, aren't we?
We have indeed.
We'll have to one day, mate. We'll have to sort that one out.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Talking of meeting up, I did also give mention to a another metal detecting event that has been announced while it's in my head. The Festival of History takes place the 19th to the 22nd of September near Camborne in Cambridgeshire. 1,000-acre historic site, 4 days detecting with camping, live entertainment, bars and catering. All proceeds from the raffle there going towards combat stress and kids at Christmas. If you're interested in finding out more about the Festival of History rally in September of this year, look for their Facebook group, Digging History UK. Because I know there's quite a few people who are actually interested in that. And it happens at the same time, I think, as Detectomania, which is the Scottish rally organised by Gary Robertson. So at least that weekend you have a choice. And I'm off the following week. Woohoo!
Even better.
Paul Song said it's a good group, that one. Last year was a very good event. And Matthew J. Kent said that's not very far from him. Good.
Yeah.
So what's next? You obviously back to work. Is it a Monday to Friday job?
It's a Monday to Friday. Yeah.
And is it a weather permitting job, or rain or shine? You do what you do.
It's a bit of everything, Dave. Yeah, bit of rain, sun. It's been really poor weather, probably like most of England, to be honest, and the British Isles. I think we've had a pretty rough time, haven't we? Mm-hmm. And I think about 6 sunny days in the last couple of months. It's getting a bit tedious now, to be honest. I just want a nice spell of sunny weather. Yeah, because I mean, you get the heavy rain, it floods it, and it's awful to work in. It really is. It's sloppy mess. You actually destroy the archaeology, to be honest, rather than doing you favours. So if it really rains hard, it's pointless. It's pointless. So we are quite on a good draining site though at the moment. So it's not too. It does drain pretty quick, but even so, the heavy rain does destroy a lot of features. So you do more damage than good in that sense.
But and I appreciate that. But there's been like the floods. 2016 maybe across Lincolnshire in that area, they were actually showing up some absolutely phenomenal archaeological sites that nobody knew were there.
It does, absolutely, and that's the thing. Actually, the rain, you get the rain in the good light, it shows up really good features, and that is really positive because the bright sunshine can be a nightmare in that sense. So you're sort of like, it's lovely to be in, but I mean, I don't like it too hot out there anyway. It's in the 80s. I hate it. It's too hot. It's horrible, for archaeology, because it bakes the ground. It's really, you can't see much of the features. But as you rightly say, when it rains and you get really good light, it really uncovers them. And it's, lovely, and it's great. And, not too much heavy rain, but just enough.
Yeah. And then obviously your weekends, family time, bit of mudlarking here and there. When you're next out, looking over the ground.
Well, I'm due a visit somewhere, so I'll be out. Yeah, probably within the next couple of weeks. I think, to be honest, got Christmas out of the way with the family, so I think you've
had enough of them now. You want your you time.
Yeah, they were. There's only a certain amount of presents you can do. So, you can give out and whatever. So, it's just a bit of chill time now.
There's a record to break, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to do it though, Dave. To be honest,
I don't know. You've done well so far.
Yeah. We're sort of like, well, we say you never know. As you say, you never know. It's a bit like metal detecting, isn't it? It's out there.
Yeah,
it's out there. It's just got to be discovered, mate, isn't it? Absolutely. And anyone can do it. And if you do it, good luck to anyone, absolutely anyone in the field, whoever finds that magic moment. I wish everybody the best of luck because it's there.
I have got another question I want to ask you. You've obviously got a phenomenal amount of bits and bobs from all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your current housing manager wouldn't allow the entire house to be ruled by fines from the foreshore, let's say. So where do you actually store, show your finds?
Well, you know a man cave, don't you, Dave?
Yeah.
You say, well, I'm allowed a man cave, you see.
You've got a man house.
I've got a room for a man cave, you see. I've got a whole room near enough. Yeah. Well, two separate rooms. Yeah. So I get whatever, pottery sherds I don't normally bother too much with, but the better stuff, like the Roman pots and the bottles and other bits and bobs, they're the high priority stuff. It's the stuff that normally gets out on display. Yeah. So Samian ware and things like that. Yeah. But pot sherds, small bits, I just box up and label them and date them and record them and things and keep those in a nice cardboard box, nice and safe.
So do you deal with your local finds liaison officer, or do you deal directly with a museum or archaeological?
Yeah, I deal with the Kent one. Kent finds liaison officer. Everything I get gets recorded.
So what you're saying is that if you're a metal detectorist in Kent, the reason the so far is behind is because of you.
Yeah, could well be. Could well be. Yeah, but he is my fault probably. Yeah. And all the archaeological site stuff.
Talking of finds liaison officers.
Working for you.
Talking of find liaison officers. Now, I haven't watched Finders Keepers. It wasn't going to float me boat, and then obviously people's feedback wasn't the best. But Mrs. Sadler's been watching it, and I caught part of last night's episode. And I don't honestly think the Portable Antiquities scheme are going to be very happy with the program at all. They'll after last night's ineptitude and chastising of the manner of which they spoke about metal detectorists and such like, and I don't think they're going to be best pleased.
Well, I think they're not always the easiest people to deal with, to be fair, because when you do find stuff, the golden rule is to record it, isn't it? You kind of like, if you've got rare stuff or unusual, but it's trying to get hold of some people can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes. So, but it will get the date at some point, I'm sure.
They weren't very gracious with the dealings as the find liaison officer last night, and it was a bit of I only caught that, and I was like, someone's not going to be very happy.
Yeah. I think I'm still waiting for stuff to come back about a year and a half, I think, ago. So, I don't know. I don't know what.
And then yesterday, I think it was, were the last year or the years before Portable Antiquities scheme records were produced about all the things that have been found throughout the country and been recorded and classed as treasure as such. Like Adrian wants to give mention to that last night, but we'll probably, if he's back and good next week, we'll speak about that a little bit more then. So it's a very busy moment at the moment in the world of archaeology and metal detecting, and it's the down months really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't go. I think mudlarking really is the only thing that isn't going to be anything's going to come between you and mudlarking. You can come between a detectorist with the weather, you can come between an archaeologist with the weather, but you can go out and have a look on the foreshore.
Yeah, that's it, on the foreshore. Yeah. I think we've all been through those rainy, horrible days, haven't we, Dave, where we got completely soaked, got stuck in a field somewhere.
Absolutely.
Thinking just why. And you see these big black clouds coming over, and you just ignore them and think, no, it's all right, they'll pass over. And you end up absolutely getting drenched, right? Yeah, but fun of it, isn't it?
And then we've all been over the trench and got completely and utterly turned purple and then black at the back of your head from the sunburn that you haven't realised is ripping you apart at the back.
Yeah, I know, that's another thing. Yeah.
You start suffering from sunstroke.
Yeah, that's it. Or trying to get an animal like a cow out of the way, or trying to get past it and they just won't let you past. It's quite a difficult thing sometimes.
And have you ever found on an archaeological site that chickens are actually the best that the archaeologists have?
Yeah. You hear that?
Scraping on the ground, getting rid. Oh, let's look for our food.
Yeah.
Some of the things that they're pulling up is absolutely amazing.
Well, that's right. How many badgers and rabbits find archaeological finds, don't they? Yeah.
And any mole hole, anything like that, I
Yeah.
always check for fragments of pottery and such like. In fact, when we went metal detecting, I went metal detecting this weekend, just gone. There you go. There was multiple mole hills and stuff, and there was lots of bits of pottery in, and hey, we were all having medieval finds as well, which was nice.
That's nice. Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to sort out metal detecting day with you, Dave, at some point, one day in the future, won't we?
Well, if not with me, Adrian's only just down in Essex, and
Yeah.
as the crow flies, it's not that far, and I'm sure he'll be happy to accommodate. In fact, if Eagle Eye DJI's there,
Yeah,
in
definitely.
the chat room, he'll be there as well. And I've told Adrian I'm doing some road trips, so absolutely not a problem.
Yeah, fantastic. No, enjoy it. It'd be lovely. Yeah, definitely. And I'll take you on the foreshore as well. We'll go somewhere and do a bit of
I'll tell you what, if I was to find even just a pipe bowl, I'd be absolutely orgasmic. It would be phenomenal just to actually pull something out the foreshore that's recognizable and old.
Yeah. Oh, you'll love it. What's your oldest foreshore find then?
Nothing really, honestly.
Oh,
nothing.
really? Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Pottery, which
this should be quite easy then.
really. Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a choice on this one.
to be fair, it probably beats any metal detecting finds as well. And then I come along and find a 5,000-year-old camel's toe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'll go interview you next if you do that.
I'd only be doing it to get on meet Mrs. Roberts. That'll be all right with me.
I'll tell you what, but actually going back to that Dingford Bridge, it was a fantastic experience. It was. I mean, it was 9 hours of filming overall. On fire again, there was the time on the foreshore was a baking hot day, and it was a few hours on there, and it was great. It was fantastic, and it's when you see a program how it's run behind the scenes, sometimes it's so different as well. It's amazing, like, all the cameras and all the computers and everything. It's just phenomenal. Yeah. It's a special moment. Yeah, I think.
And it's there for you for life. It's there for your family. It's there for your future generations of the Tomlinsons to actually look back and say, "There's great granddad Tomlinson on the bloody telly there."
Yeah,
it's documented now.
I don't know what I'm going to look like as a great granddad, mind you. I'll probably lose all my hair. Yeah, might have a few more wrinkles come up by then. But, yeah, I think. I think anything that opens up history is, for anyone who finds anything special, it opens up history and it opens it up for future generations, doesn't it? And I think this is what's so important, isn't it? I mean, people who find Roman hoards or metal detecting finds, which just open up finds that we just do not know about, and I think it's and I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's so important. People can take over from there, can't they? Down the line, when we're gone in time, they can and see see these finds, and and I think it's great. Yeah.
Well, I can't say anything else other than congratulations. It's it's a pleasure seeing out all the things that you're pulling out.
Thanks.
And obviously, the digging for Britain, it's well recognised now as probably the leading program regarding archaeology. Following, and I know Time Team's on YouTube, but obviously a lot of people still haven't tuned into YouTube. They're still waiting for it to come on telly, so it's probably the leading program of its type now. So we've made it there. So Steve, it's as ever, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much,
speaking to you. I mean, tonight again, an hour and a half, and it's gone in an instant. It's been fantastic. I've missed me right hand man as ever. So Adrian, get well soon, and Shane, get well soon.
Indeed.
And next week, currently, we haven't got a guest lined up, I don't think. I'm not sure. Don't think so. We do have Donna Martin in 2 weeks, who's asked me to ask her about the skull that she found metal when in the field. I don't know if it was metal detecting. I think it was human. That'll be interesting.
Interesting one, yeah.
Isn't it? She's an archaeologist as well.
Okay, excellent.
So it was great guest to look forward to.
Lovely.
Plus, she's as mad as a box of frogs.
Brilliant. Lovely.
We hear her answer phone messages. Steve, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks very much, Dave.
We'll speak to you soon.
Pleasure.
Keep in touch, obviously, and
Will do.
I'll make that road trip. So
yeah, it'll be lovely. Lovely to see you. It will be. Yeah.
Well,
make it a weekend.
Yeah, obviously.
At least. Yeah.
On a skill night. I mean, can't come down on a skill night.
Yeah.
Right, everyone. Sorry.
Lovely. Brilliant.
You take care anyway, Steve. And
thanks,
thank
Dave.
you, everybody.
Cheers.
If you're all out this week, good luck detecting. If you're not, good luck sat in the house. Have a good week, everybody.
Night.
Come on.